Okay, so is now a good time to launch a crypto project? I think a lot of people will assume that the answer is no because of market conditions right now in crypto. So that's why I want to create this video, because there isn't a right or wrong answer. There are things that are obvious, such as if you launch in a market that isn't as good, then of course buying pressure is going to be lower. However, there are a few advantages to launching in a market that isn't as hot as well. So I just want to create this video for any of you builders to have a few more things to think about when making the decision as to whether you launch now or you wait. Because as a crypto growth hacker, running Magnet, which is a best-in-class crypto growth consultancy company, we are hit with this question a lot because we're helping projects grow, and your launch is your time to shine, right? It's your one moment that you can really kick off exponential growth. So it's a question we're faced with a lot, and one that I wanted to tackle in a video. So yeah, let's just get into it. And I'm going to start going through a few points and giving you some things to think about. So the first point I want to talk about is getting ahead. And what I mean by this is when the market does change, there's going to be people that want to act quickly. There's going to be new liquidity and new buying volume coming into the space. And if you haven't launched yet, you can't take advantage of that. Whereas if you launch in a quieter market, but you manage to build a little bit of community, you manage to build a good chart, you manage to get all of your on-chain data straight and build a good token, you're on narrative, the market changes, people can just come in and buy your token straight away because you're live, right? Whereas if you haven't launched yet, you're gonna be trying to get people to wait until you have launched and then pulling all of that volume from them. So it's a case where you can think, okay, we are ready as soon as the market changes to take advantage of everything, rather than, oh, the market's changed, now we need to go on this big launch growth plan, because you wouldn't need to do that. You've already done it, right? You're already live. But the counter to that is obviously launch is super, super important. And if you want a launch with a lot of volume and a lot of buying pressure, then again, choosing the right market for that is going to be super important. Whereas if you're in this for the long term, then you can get your token out there, you can start building it up nicely, and then you're ready in prime position to really front run the market when all of the buying pressure and liquidity comes back in. So that's point one. Point two is understanding market dynamics maybe later on down the line. I have seen so many projects that still haven't launched when I was talking to them 18 months ago, and they're like, yeah, we're going to launch next quarter. They still haven't launched because they're waiting for the perfect time. And you can't predict what's going to happen in crypto. No one expected the current market dynamics that we're seeing in 2025 so far. So because it's such an unpredictable market, and if you're just banking on market dynamics fitting you, then you could be waiting around a long time and not ever activating your journey. So that's another point to consider. Do you just go, you know what, it's not ideal right now, the conditions aren't great, but we just need to do this. We need to crack on. We need to start building our community and our token, right? Because if you wait forever, you might still be here in 3 years' time thinking, oh, I'm waiting for the perfect market dynamics and perfect market conditions. So that's just something to consider as well. Number three, obviously volume. So volume, again, is going to be much higher in an up market, and this is why you would probably wait it out, because there's going to be a lot more people wanting to trade your token, because volume is going to be better, liquidity is going to be thicker. It's a safer way to essentially get involved in your project when conditions are good. So that's something to always think about when you're looking to launch, is how good is the market's volumes right now, and can I attract any of that to my project? And again, the obvious answer here is you would want to wait for a better market. Volume is something like initial volume, initial buying pressure is something that is so important to you. The next one is access. Now, this is an important one that people don't really speak about. And going back to what I was talking about earlier, when the market heats up, everyone's going to be wanting to try and launch their project because they've all been waiting for this perfect time. So trying to get on a tier one launch pad, trying to get on a really good exchange, trying to get like the best market makers involved in your project, trying to get the best influencers and KOLs to talk about you. All of these things are going to be so much tougher to do when everyone else is trying to launch, right? Whereas, let me give you an example. There's a tier one KOL that I know quite well, and he was charging 500K for deals at the back end of last year when the market was hot. Now he's considering taking 200K deals. That's a 60% decrease in price, which is astonishing. So you can get the coverage from the same guy, but at a 60% cheaper price in this market compared to when the market picks up. Everything goes up. So if you are a smaller project and you don't have all the connections in the world, trying to work with the biggest people in the space is going to be more affordable and easier to do right now than it is when the market picks up and everyone wants to work with these people and these companies. The next point is awareness. So the way I look at this is how much awareness can you create for your project? And that really comes from how many people are looking into the crypto space right now. Again, this is going to be very low in comparison to a good market. So in terms of people being able to discover you, there's no way that as many people are going to discover you in a market like this because people just aren't as interested. This is something that you really have to consider as well when you're launching. How much awareness do you want to generate? But again, some of the points in this video that I've already mentioned might be like, okay, that initial huge boost in awareness might not be the most important thing to us. What we might actually want to do is just get out there, get underway, and we can develop that awareness over time. So again, that comes from a personal decision for you and your founders to decide on. Next one, costs. So if you were, say, launching on ETH right now, of course, the costs are going to be much lower because the fees on ETH blockchain are much lower. But fees aren't really something as prevalent anymore because you have really affordable blockchains. But it's just one I wanted to mention because if you are looking to launch on something like ETH, it's obviously going to be cheaper to deploy a token right now than it would be in a hot market. So yeah, there's some points to consider. There are a lot more. Like there are so many questions that you have to ask yourself when you're looking to launch because your launch is so important. And on the one hand, you can just get your journey underway and build up over time. On the other hand, for other projects, that initial launch is super important for them because they need to be able to build up to a certain market cap or build a certain treasury or a ton of other things, right? So that's why I said at the start of this video, there is no right or wrong answer. Simply saying we're not launching in this market because we want to launch in a good market isn't really enough. If you want to succeed in this space, you need to examine all of the potential options available to you. And you might actually find that there's something right now that works for you that will enable you to have an advantage over your competitors who are going to keep waiting until the conditions and timing is right, which is never really there. So yeah, there is no right or wrong answer. I just hope that this video managed to provide you with some more considerations. And if you want to have a conversation with people that will look into these points and a ton of other points as well that I don't have time for in this video, then visit growwithmag.net, have a chat with our team, and hopefully they can provide you with a few more pointers and help you decide when the best time is for you to launch and what that launch strategy looks like. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If not, then apologies for wasting your time. Anything to do with the business side of crypto, building in crypto, that's why I created this channel. Any support is massively appreciated. Let me know what type of videos you want to see next. Cheers.